Belt's bone dry. Guys, we got us a brand spanking new Renegade 1000 XMR, the bike that everyone says you should get because it is the baddest and most expensive mud bike on the market. I'm not crazy about everything on it. I wish I had a ready to relocate, but it's a pretty good bike so far. Unfortunately, it's not able to make it up the ramp into my shop. It had to get towed here by a 250 four tracks. There's a very good reason for that. 100 miles on it, and can you guess what happened already? Clutches are glazed pretty bad. Pretty clean in here, no water got in it, but you can see the chunks that fell out when I took the cover off. It's safe to say that this thing needs a belt at 100 miles. And yes, it was in low range when this happened on stock 30-inch pizza cutters. Interesting. What a monster. XMR rear diff. It actually has brakes on both sides. Very premium. Too bad it only has 12.5 inches of ground clearance on 30-inch tires. You figure with an IRS bike, you should get at least, half the tire size and ground clearance. But the diff is so big, and the frame is so big, and the engine is so big, it doesn't have it. It also has this goofy keyless fob thing to start it. It doesn't have a real key. It's just like a it just snaps on there. They call it digitally encoded security system on an ATV. I guess these things are worth a lot of money. So we got the belt change, got all the broken belt out of there. I'm gonna do a little oil change on her. Tons of power, but man, it's heavy. Listen to the quality. Oh yeah. Ready for the suspension? Can-Am just loves these little cheap squeaky bushings. So this is what Can-Am wants you to think about their CVT, and as you can see from this video, it's really just a piece of junk. This is a really bad bike though. Got to ride it around a little bit. I wouldn't say it's scary fast for having 90 horsepower. It's usable. I just did a little test drive, whatnot, but it is relentlessly torquey. The problem is the engine makes excellent torque, but all that torque has to go through the belt. And in a situation where you really need all that torque to the wheels, you're not going to get it. Your belt's going to look like this one did. This belt didn't have very many miles on it and had never gotten wet. 116 miles on that belt. So we did upgrade to the Maverick belt. That should keep it going a little better. But as you can see, when you have 89 horsepower at the crank and a belt between the crank and the wheels, bad things happen. I don't know what Can-Am means by the drive shaft is always in the right gear. The drive shaft doesn't have gears. It sounds cute. I guess Can-Am guys like that kind of BS. Anyways, very cool bike. Still wouldn't buy one. Weighs 1,000 pounds. Still is a belt drive. Yeah, no thanks. And it's three-wheel drive. But definitely looks good sitting still. As far as the suspension goes, this bike is set up very stiff right now with the preload. But even then, the front does kind of dive and bottom out, so I'm really not sure. I guess the back is super stiff because the ride is very stiff. You can feel the bottom of the seat, which actually isn't that great of a seat. It's too soft. And the front's, yeah, I don't know. The suspension's weird. I think the back's too stiff and the front's too soft. So if this was mine, I'd mess with the preload settings. But it's such a heavy bike that even though it's got 89 horsepower, the acceleration isn't that scary because it's 1,000 pounds. But yeah, very torquey.